Today is March 26th. I'm sick.
Never let anyone tell you that you can't do shit. Meta and Google found liable for women's social media addiction and pay her $3 million in damages. Who's her lawyer? Can I just tell that how I'm just so disgusted by Mark Zuckerberg? Like, just his face disgusted me. Just, he's not like every other white man from San Francisco who's doing tech. He has this very distinct, it's like unhuman. I mean, I know that people are accusing him to be like Lizard Man or whatever, but his face is just so fucking weird. Anyway, I am trying to be very mindful about using ChatGPT, and the most that I use is sometimes I kind of have to like transfer my language into like a corporate lingo and make it less casual. Sometimes I will be like, oh, like perfect this email into more of a formal tone. And I want to talk about the Lily Allen West End Girls concert. I like the set. I think it's very much giving Clairo charm when it first came out. It's like this very intimate set. Well, it's like a bedroom setting. And I think her outfit is very much giving like, oh, Gucci. Like very vintage, retro vibe Gucci, but still like sexy. So she's telling her story as sort of like a older woman in her mid to late 30s, and then she's telling all these stories include marriage and open relationship that's more complicated than just young women in their 20s, late 20s, that oh he doesn't love me, like he loves someone else. Like, so recently I went to see the talk with Marina Abramovic and Seth Meyer, and it was so short. It was like 1 hour. Because I also went to the Lebowitz talk in Carnegie Hall, which is her Carnegie Hall debut. It was like a good 2 hours. There's like a guest and a talk, and then there's like a question Q&A section, just by herself. I love how like the Fred Lebowitz Q&A section was obviously more curated, so or they already pulled the question out and they have like, yeah, but I kind of doubt that maybe those question was like written ahead. I am in the mood to pay to see famous, semi-famous people talk. I always love how they pair a very intellectual woman with a very privileged old white man as the guest speaker, the host. It's just like I love the combo because you can't do both. You can't be like a very intellectual, very self-reflected woman and then with another figure like that. You have to balance it off, right? You have to invite some old white man from New Jersey, grew up in New Jersey or Massachusetts, right? I love that. Are we gonna talk about Rama Jawaji's Twitter post? Like, this is, I was just thinking about that. I think because growing up in China, first of all, do have to say that China is a homogenized country. 99% of the people are Chinese, right? It's not an immigrant country. So, we don't really have the concept of race. And so racism wasn't really a thing when we grow up. So, because it's just us. It's just us. But then, of course, I was thinking about what was I saying when I was like 16 and 17? Am I being problematic? What is like the crazy things that I said? I don't know. I think, of course, like I think some of my concept of what racism and sexism, classism was formed largely. I mean, classism was formed way before I came to the United States. But I think racism and sexism, especially, the concept was formed after I came here. To have a relatively more objective point of view on racism is kind of largely relies on the environment that you grew up in, right? The environment that you are in. So being in New York City and then going to school shaped the way that I view this. So I remember I was on a date with this guy and I just feel like provocative. And I was like, I have a controversial take, which is, to be honest, not controversial. I was like, I think everyone to some degree is racist and classist. And then obviously for a white guy from San Francisco who went to USC and started a tech company, an AI company, who is trying to sell art, he found it shocking and decided not to talk to me ever. He literally was like, "Oh, you think that? Well, my sister's wedding is in July." Literally. And I was like, lame. But I think being comfortable talking about that is also very important, because some people would just be like, "Oh, let's not talk about it." I think we should be able to say that, and we should be able to admit that everyone, to some degree, it's coded in our system when we were born. Like, has anyone not see the picture when two baby is on the bus? Like, it's a white baby and a black baby, and they're like being friendly, and someone was like commenting like, "Oh, racism was taught." I agree, but like the fact that we have to counter teach ourselves about what racism is more important. I was on a date with this guy. I was just telling that I accidentally placed my Domino orders up on 125 instead of the one in my neighborhood, so I have to go up there in the middle of the night and I have to rent a city bike. He immediately went like, "Ooh, that's not a fun place to go at night." That's Harlem, okay? That's not like middle of nowhere. Just constantly see these hinge prompts will be like, "Give me travel tip to Brooklyn."
I also just kind of want to talk about my relationship with social media right now, because I think after I graduated from school that I felt less inclined to post online, because I don't feel there's anything interesting happening in my life, and that I don't want people to feel like, "Oh, your life is lame now." Like, it's just like, that's super insane that I'm so self-centered and think that people will think about certain things about me, and it doesn't really matter. It's like my social media. But I do like, I remember seeing this somewhere, basically was saying that you have to post like building your own brand. Your social media is your own brand. The way you look is your own brand. You also have to think about how other people will think about you, because you're monetize yourself. And I think growing up, my family has like a thing about the way you carry yourself, especially as the only child and I'm a girl, that I think my parents are big on like hair and your shoes. You have to have clean hair and you have to brush your hair. It's very important for a girl that you can't have like greasy, messy hair, unbrushed hair going to school, and people will think you don't have like good manner But then I feel like growing up I have no authority over my hair, so after I graduated high school, I immediately dye my hair blue, which is like, to go from this color, first of all, I cannot go platinum blonde, because I probably have to dye my hair like 4 times. So I only can go from this to like a dirty blonde, like a dirty yellow blonde, and then, and then I kind of have to, the manic panic was huge when I was in high school. That's like 2020. So I dyed my hair blue, and you know, like as you wash it off, it kind of like become like green and purple, like all kinds of hair, and then you kind of have to experiment a little bit. And that only lasts for 1 semester, because I was a piano major and then we have to do recitals and concerts, and my teacher was like, you can't play with blue hair. And she was like, I'm giving you 1 week to dye your hair back, otherwise you're not playing this concert. I was like, okay. And then I only had blue hair for 1 semester. Okay. Also, like, I can't skip any class, because the professor will know, oh, like, where's the blue hair girls? Don't notice. So I can't skip any class, which is, I think that was fine. It was fun. It was fun for like this first semester at college. Everyone sort of like don't know what my name is, and they were like, refer me as the girl with green hair, the girl with blue hair, the girl with purple hair. And I was wearing like super short skirt, was flashing on my pink bike, giving jewels, and riding to classes and flashing everyone with my underwear. Right now, I do feel more of a pressure of maintaining a image that's kind of referred as normal. Inevitably, getting older is part of the process of how you have to present yourself more socially acceptable. And I think my system was always trying to fight the alt in me. I don't know. It was my deepest fear of what pursuing your dreams, or on the way to find what your dream is, what ultimately, if that doesn't work out, what that ultimately will look like. So I was trashing on Marty Supreme before I watched it, because I don't like this new Timothée Chalamet. But then I watched the whole thing and I was like, I feel really, really resonated with the character, especially when the part he was saying that I have a purpose and you don't, and that's not making my life any better. I totally agree with that. I think having a purpose in your life or on the pursuit of greatness does not make your life better and easier in some sort of way and make your life way harder. And that's okay. Is that the most important history of music was The Art of Noise. Love by Art of Noise. The Art of Noise. Anyway, I think this is one of the most important moment in history that this piece of music was made, and I love it. I love it. Oh my god. POV, right before your boyfriend said he's going out to hang out with the boys, and you found out he cheated on you.
I'll be a good boy. I'll be a good boy. And I said, I'll be the best boy.
POV when your friend said, I can't believe you're going to a stranger's house and make out with them. You don't even know who they are.
I've got a brain. I've got a brain in there. I watch a lot of true crime. I know how a serial killer works.
I think that's so much for today. I'm kind of sick. I'm sick. Yeah, bye.